preparing. Now live, I guess. Hello, I believe we're now live on Facebook. So I'm just going to do a quick introduction while it gets shared to all the relevant places and for you guys to start seeing the notification that we're actually on live. So today we're going to be sharing our ideas and thoughts on different topics. And today it's on heaven and earth. And as we didn't cover our self-development stuff from last week, we're going to cover that as well. So these sessions every Monday are about 30 minutes, and we're going to be covering topics such as 5D consciousness, new earth, ascension, evolution, what is light language, changes to our energetic chakra systems. So basically all the things that we've been sensing over the last couple of months, we're starting now to present them every week so that you can share. And there's 3 different viewpoints when we do this. So you get to see it from 3 different angles because everybody sees everything differently. So I'm going to hand over to Alicia. Are we all set up?
Yes, we are. Thank you. Just making sure it's all good here. All right, so welcome, beautiful souls, to our Multidimensional Monday. And as always, we are delighted to be here with all of you. And if we're connecting with you for the first time, my name is Alicia with my mom, Eva, and we're from Krystalline Ascension, with our galactic sister, Trudy from White Star Soul Guidance. And if you're catching the live on Facebook or here on Zoom with us, please do say hello in the comments or in the chat. And a warm welcome to those of you who are watching the replay. And if you want to hashtag replay so that we can circle back around later on and say hello to you as well. And so each Monday we'll be here live sharing our multidimensional experiences, stories, and earthly musings of living as a multidimensional being in a human body and how we're bridging the two together. So again, last week we did talk about a little bit about the self-care that we needed to extend on. Did anyone make time for that? If you want to pop that in the comments, if you did catch us live or either on the recording of self-care, and if you've had time to do that. Hello, Marta. Hello, everyone. Good to be here.
And we've got Lillian on Facebook. Hello, Lillian.
Okay. Hello. Beautiful. Okay. So again, we're just going to go into our personal views of heaven on earth and what it means to us.
So we've also got a recap. There was a section we were going to do last week, but 30 minutes goes so quick when we're sharing, which was to do with our personal development. So we'll be covering that too. So if you see us all looking down, we're just trying to manage the comments across Zoom and across Facebook. So we will have our full attention in a second. And what I want us to be able to talk about today, first, is the heaven on earth part. So what is heaven on earth? What does it mean to us? We're going to give you 3 completely different views of it because we come from different angles on this. But the concept of heaven and earth is this ability to have the bliss and the peace and the abundance that we assume is heaven, but to actually experience it while we're walking on the earth. And that's the whole concept behind it, but it's like really, really hard to actually embody it and to live it. So I thought I'd give an example of what it isn't as well. So when we do our spiritual work, if we have to leave our bodies to get that feeling, and then when we come back into our bodies, we lose that feeling, then that's not heaven on earth, that's heaven or earth. And we want to be able to bring that together and merge it into one. So have a think about how you do your meditations. Do you find that they're really blissful? And then when you come back, it's not so pleasant? Then just sort of assess and let us know in the comments if that's how you've been spending your time between the two. And I want us to think about what it means to be a human versus what it means to be a spiritual being. Because again, those 2 things have to become together. Our soul has come to be in this human body for a purpose as part of our spiritual journey. And we need to be able to bring those 2 things tightly together. So I thought what we'd do today is we take you on a kind of guided visualization of each of our descriptions, because these are not something you can easily put into words. So to take you on a journey and a description of how it feels to us. And I'm hoping you'll see a kind of flow through the 3 of us on our different jobs. So just to remind you, as a specialism within the three of us, the trine wave that we create, I'm specializing more in the divine intelligence, the knowledge, the knowing. Alicia is the divine architect, and Eva is the divine weaver. So hopefully you'll see those traits coming through as you watch each of us tell our stories. So we've got Lillian saying, I feel blissful after meditations. And yeah, that's exactly how we do feel. And now we're going to talk about how do you anchor that into your body so you feel blissful all the time, like you're in one permanent meditation. So about 10 years ago, I got first of all, I started off on TV. There was just this beautiful nebula environment. And as soon as I saw it, I just burst into tears, and it just felt so much like home. And I'm a very logical person, so this was a bit of a surprise. And it didn't go away. It wasn't something like just like an accident or sort of hormonal or something like that. It just stuck. So at first, when we encountered it, I thought it was a bit mean. Like, why was it showing me this amazing place when I'm here on Earth and it seemed so far away? And I kept trying to almost like cut connections to it, thinking that that was what I was supposed to do. I thought it was just an old memory and it was affecting my ability to stay in my body on Earth because I wanted to go back there. And it actually took quite a few years before I realized that I was shown that because I was meant to learn how to bring that down and anchor it onto Earth. And that seems like a big, huge job when you first realize that's what you're here to do. And I guess since then, for the last 10 years, I've been trying to work out how to do that and how to embody it. So embodiment became more important as my spiritual practice grew, so that we had both sides. So what I'd like to do now is to start off the journey by taking you into the space that I was shown, or trying to take you there and show it to you. And then I'll hand over to Alicia as we go. So take a nice deep breath and close your eyes. And we're going to go into the heart center. Imagine a lotus flower opening up, welcoming you into this heart center. And in the center of the flower, you'll see a pearl, and we're going to go through the pearl out into your inner heart, into your inner knowing. And as you step through this pearl, you step out onto a platform. So just take a deep breath and breathe into that feeling of being inside your heart. And then just discovering this amazing universe within your heart, just sitting there, waiting for you to discover it. Just take a few deep breaths, bringing yourself into your body so you can feel both being present in your body and seeing this beautiful, expansive view of yourself. Now you notice that one star is shining really brightly, and that's the star I'm intending to take you to now. It's a nebula, it's like a star system. So as you take a deep breath, just intend to be transported to this area, to this wonderful, call it a consciousness, because that's what it kind of feels like. We're going to go to this consciousness, to this one point in space and time. And as you arrive, what you notice is this immense feeling of love. Each star is moving in a way that is almost like a being. It's alive and it's interacting with the others. And I can see sort of like gases moving and interchanging. And I see all of this as consciousness interacting. I want you now to imagine opening your ears and tuning them to a new frequency so you can hear what they're saying. And as you're tuning in, the messages and the language you hear are all about emotions and feelings. You can hear these stars communicating. You can feel that one star is a bit sad today. And you can see that all the other beings in these energy systems are coming together to support, create a circle, to hold space, to help them work through that emotion. And by them creating this loving vibration, the sadness just naturally lifts. It's almost like a wave passing through your body and then straight on out. The feeling is felt and then is released. You might notice another area of this consciousness where there's been some upset by somebody saying something that didn't resonate or landed wrongly. And again, you see the consciousness coming together to hold the space. But underneath all of it, the one thing that's super, super strong is this feeling of love. This unity consciousness, this understanding that everybody is there to support everyone, that the well-being of one matters to the well-being of everyone. There is no emotion that's banned. There's no emotion that's censored. It's all about learning to use these emotions in a way that will allow you to benefit the whole collective. Everyone is allowed to express exactly how they feel, and no offense is taken. Everything is seen as an expression of the whole unity of consciousness, and everything ultimately returns to love. Make that feeling stronger and stronger. And I'll hand over to Alicia.
And even though it's very hard to describe heaven on earth in the physical words, so I thought I would share with you a beautiful vibrational remembrance of what heaven on earth feels like to me in this beautiful space. So you might hear some light language flow through, which speaks directly to your heart, your soul, and your DNA. And if you're new to this, just keep opening up your heart wider, just to receive, but know that you have divine will to decide, to receive what resonates with you and to leave the rest. So in this space, just seeing your heart open up wider and wider, and see the beautiful crystal flower in your heart space, in the center of your heart, gently open up wider with every breath. And I invite you to feel into these frequencies, the expanded consciousness and the continuous evolution. Ala ukhyana kara asanta kuyana. Ala kuyashtaki ina kuyala kara asantakina la tuya la tia takuyana ka isa tuya. Shadakuru ukriya takira asantakina ina la tuya la shata isa yatokuya. The collaboration, the communities, and the sacred circles. Sika kuya na ka ika kuya kaya asa tukuya kaya asa ila. Eta shitika uko moko asentiki la setika ia ta ila setikorio kaya asa. Asentike eneono koya sa tiki ishitko ukana asateata. The connection to self, to Mother Gaia once again, and to Source. Asakuyata kariya sati. Asakuyana kari ishtikare satukuya makare satikoria fayato. Alatuya shtakariana kuyana kariya satukuyana. Asatukuya shatikita sitika. Satukuyana nina kari uriala take etro ushtikare asatikiri itati uti. I could feel Mother Gaia placing her hand upon your heart, to feel her heartbeat once again. To feel the divine union within, feeling whole. Asatuya lati ana inaka isa taki ala sutukuya ala yanakare asa. Sada ishtira eta asatukuya nara kariya satuya nara yata inaya. Feeling that divine abundance, that joy, that love, and the bliss. Siyashtikara asatukuya nakayasa. Anakina la siwa makara esa tina shtakere esa. So kuya makala tina la tuya la tida shata inaka uya la yetaruya la sinda shata kulela satikere ata. The peace, the harmony, the sovereignty. Satakuya na kare itara kuria la 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 yona la nina kare itza. Isa tetushta kare uhriata kara asa briata kariata. With the new architecture within you, creating that sacred temple of light within you. Asa tukuyama ina atasito uyala ala turriata kare isa tukuyama shtikere isa tukuriata ina satikita shatikere ala tutara kina ala la turriata kariata. And being your highest divine self, flowing as one with your multidimensional selves. Ata ushtikere asa tukuyana ka a. Tukuya nagina kara santuya, tare shatakina satukuriato pruyata, puriata ketichkata tekareta tekareta techichata. Just keep taking a deep breath into your higher heart. Stretching back into your physical body. And just, I'd love to know how this felt for you. And just inviting you to share in the comments if you are able to feel heaven on earth, or if you were to able to receive that vibrational remembrance of heaven on earth that I feel and that I'm here co-creating.
To see. Okay, we're going to move on. Through my inner visions, I see heaven connected to earth via a bridge or stepping stone, that I am jumping from one stone to another. But on the other side of these stones or bridges, there's a welcoming group of souls to celebrate me. So if you can imagine that the beginning of the bridge or the stepping stones are metaphors for the beliefs, identities, patterns, resistances that I am to say goodbye to, so that I can travel with ease across the waters to a place of unity and freedom, all while building my muscles of courage and expanding my heart to move love and abundance in my life. The other side is a metaphor that I have finally freed myself from my perceived concepts. So heaven on earth to me is knowing I am living life fully. For a quick visual, if you would like to follow along, imagine you are at the edge of a stream and there are countless huge stones to cross. And you can see on the other side a beautiful meadow filled with colors of unimaginable beauty. And you see a crowd of souls cheering you on and holding space for you to make it all the way across the water. So you allow courage and strength to enter into your human body, and you begin taking the steps. And with each step, your human body feels lighter and lighter. And you notice that the steps between each stone is closer, so you no longer need to jump. These stones are fluorescent in color and are releasing vapors of love, abundance, balance, a desire to stay on this planet and live life to the fullest. By now, as you are breathing, your heart is expanding with anticipation to step upon this new land. Your mind and heart are filled with thoughts of love and creativity of what you will do next in your life. You make that final step and you are running with your soul friends in this meadow of amazing colors. Can you feel the difference of when you started? This is heaven on earth. So let us know in the comments how this makes you feel.
And I feel we have to come back more into our body now.
Yeah.
So blissful, but this is what we're creating and bringing down and integrating and anchoring. But just for now, just breathe back into your body. So you can feel the difference, see the difference, know the difference of what we're sharing here.
Because it's possible to keep this feeling and be in your body. It's not an either or option. We're able to bring it completely back down into our body, from visiting where the source of this information is, through the light language of integrating it through our sacred architecture, through the bridge that anchors the two layers together. You've just been on a journey through all of the layers, bringing it back. So if you want to stretch and move your arms and legs and your fingers and imagine that energy flowing right through your body so that you're bringing it right down to your fingertips, and even like twist your spine a little to get that life force going up your spine.
I know I definitely feel the tingles in my body.
Yeah, I think that was more powerful than we anticipated. We were trying not to kind of send everybody off, but hopefully you all felt that.
Yeah, they were beautiful chairs. Yeah.
So yeah, put any comments in the groups or in the any comments that you share. We'll try and see what we've got coming out. So I've got Lillian on Facebook. I had to look to see where I was then. I am on Earth and I am on Facebook. Hi everyone, I feel blissful after the meditation. That was amazing. As you spoke your light language, my soul was responding to your language. Amazing and divinely guided. I love living in my higher heart. So that's off Facebook. Wonderful.
I think we have anything here.
So as it's coming up to 23 minutes past, we'll move on to the next section. Otherwise, we'll end up discussing this again. So everyone take a nice deep breath, and we'll introduce the concept of self-development, because as light workers, we mentioned last week in self-care, our self-development was one of the most important aspects, that we had to feel like we had to continue integrating the light and releasing old thought forms, like Eva mentioned, crossing that bridge, letting go of those beliefs and those limitations. So we're going to share, each of us is going to share something that we've been working on recently, so you can see how it resonates for you. So each week we started working together, mainly because we had core wounds that we wanted to work on. And what we discovered was by working three together, we would have three different vantage points on the core wound, which would allow us to be able to go deeper into that wound and get a different perspective so that we can heal it. We also discovered some techniques were becoming like standard or common through the work that we were doing, and they were working really well. So we started defining those and integrating those into our practices every week. So to give you an idea of the sort of topics, I'm going to talk about the first one we did recently, which was beating self up. So I'd had a lot of memories of doing something hugely wrong. And I mean, like beyond this lifetime wrong. And I could never put my finger on it. It kept coming up, like whenever there was an issue in my life, this thing would keep coming up that I did this. And it was one of the reasons that I was holding myself back. So it showed up more recently in a particular incident where I invited the right people in to make the decisions. I kind of called on the experts, and yet still I ended up making a wrong decision that cost me. And that ended up with me beating myself up on probably the biggest scale ever. I beat myself up probably worse than you'd ever beat up your best friend, and yet we're meant to be our own best friends. So this kind of showed up in my life as being a perfectionist, not being able to make decisions, doing a lot of risk assessment. It's almost like every time I had to make a decision, it felt like a life or death decision, even on, not so much on holidays, but on living kind of decisions. And it would be quite a torturous process to get it right. And then even though I put all the plans in place to get it right, when it went wrong, even if it wasn't even completely my fault, even if there were other people involved, somehow it was always my fault. The other people were excused as being, they didn't know better, they are allowed to make mistakes, but to myself, I wouldn't let myself have that same privilege. So I would find that my inner coach and this I told you so mother, kind of like, I warned you this would happen, were fighting all the time. My coach would be saying to myself, but you deserve the same care and attention. And then the mother would say, I told you so, you didn't do this right. And this obviously holds you back from being your full self. It's kind of keeps you stagnant sometimes because you can't move forward. It stops you making decisions easily. It even prevents you from being your full authentic self, and it stops you from stepping up and doing risky things like starting a business or being seen in a certain way or starting a new hobby. So it's quite, it can hold you back quite a lot. I found ways to get around most of it, but I was quite surprised when the beating yourself came back up. But I just want you guys now to tune in and think, have you ever had that experience yourself? Have you found yourselves beating yourself up in this way over something? And can you share in the comments? So we'd love to see what your experience of this is. So after doing some work with Alicia and Eva, while you guys are putting your answers in, I did actually get to a point now that I feel much more comfortable, and the procedures that we found have actually helped find a more even keel. It might have taken a couple of weeks to embed it in, but now I feel a lot more. The core wound that we found was really quite deep, and now I feel like we've changed the underneath foundation so that I can build up from that. So I'm not seeing anybody passing comments in the moment, so I'll hand over to Alicia to share her development story, self-development story.
We have Marta, and she says lots of times feeling stagnant when having to, I just lost it.
Decide something.
Lots of times feeling stagnant when having to decide something.
Yeah, that it all stems from this ancient feeling. And I say we will explain what that is, but for now I just wanted to explain the symptoms of it and see if you resonated with that. But the core of it is often a fall of a great society like Atlantis, maybe memories of that. And even if you don't believe in that, it's this kind of doom, like you did something bad and the world will end because you've done it. So wherever that comes from is the core wound, and that's what we were working on, which is quite interesting for us. So I'm going to hand over to Alicia to share her development story.
Yes, so thank you. So my self-development story all began, I think, when we discovered that we were hiding our superpowers for that fear of persecution. And this is when we began to uncloak our high elven selves. So even though I was moving forward each day as a light worker, I still had this hugely deep hidden fear of being persecuted that was keeping me from playing small and stopping me from stepping more fully into my leadership role. Plus, as well, the peacock essence, the peacock animal was following me everywhere. So when the three of us got together and when we were diving deep into the cosmic fields and into truth, we had discovered and started to uncloak our high elven selves, which was truly magical and a beautiful, loving reveal, as each of us had experiences and intuitive syncs and connections with them that linked up to this very, very, very special time. Once it only happened once we were together in this timeline. And we went to further to uncover that we actually came from a royalty DNA and lineage and received a beautiful initiation that would only proceed again once we were together. So that alone showed us how our divine ancient galactic connections as sisters are being revealed here. So later on, we also discovered that we were still hiding our multi-galactic superpowers as we were still holding on to that fear of persecution. So let me know in the comments if you resonate with that fear of persecution, with this programming of being persecuted as light workers, possibly as a witch, or any time that we naturally used our divine gifts, talents, or our psychic abilities. So by the fear of persecution programming still running within us, it resulted in the imprint of being punished around receiving. So these are deep humanity wounds that we were or are still holding on to. And it's the imprints and the programs of sacrifice, slavery, manipulation, and the inability to access our own life force energy. And even our wisdom was being held captive. So again, share with me or share in the comments, anyone feeling a charge within these as I share these imprints and programs, these words of sacrifice, slavery, manipulation.
We've got Lillian.
Yeah,
So
okay.
absolutely was called a white witch. And Marta says, yes, don't feel comfortable sharing my insights.
How interesting. Yeah. So
and Lillian also was self-doubt always coming in. So yeah, there's two of them straight away.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that. So together we were able to go straight to these core truths, which brought on a journey of multiple truths and sacred discoveries and allowed us to shift into that higher dimensional truth and alignment of expressing our multi-galactic gifts and talents in our current reality. And
that's how we started doing these talks. Because we would have been too nervous before this.
Yes, so happy to hear there are others that are resonating with this.
All right. It showed up for me every day as I was born in the 60s. And one thing I was not taught was to ask for anything, let alone ask for support. What I did learn was to receive from another equals that I owed them a favor in return. Deep wounds of not being worthy and deserving haunted me all my life, and asking for anything, even a possibility, was not a part of my life. Has anybody ever experienced that in their life? Right? And this goes together with beating yourself up every day and feeling persecuted every day. So it was through working together with three perceptions and our unique talents that it is clear that it wasn't about receiving, it was about the memories that were being built upon the receiving. With our dynamic trio, we were able to see with clarity of what may be behind our truth of the receiving wounds. This is why I'm really super excited about our Stardust Being Human series, freeing oneself of human baggage to actually receiving generously from an inner and outer dimension. Our mission together is like detective work, right? We go out, we find the source, we free it up energetically, we awaken its truth, and we support planetary souls to rise if they so choose. So we welcome you to share how you felt as we were reading these comments.
So we've got Carmen saying, yeah, hard on self-criticism and beating self up. Always thought it was related to fear of failure and perfectionist. Cool. Yeah, well, that's what we said. It is a fear of failure and perfectionism, but deep underneath that, it's a fear of almost life and death failure. And she also said she doesn't like the exposure. Anything on Zoom?
Oh, all good here.
Lillian's getting a yep for everything. Well, these things are all common light worker ones. I think what surprised me is how we could get to, like, we all kind of know they're there, but actually getting to the source of them is a different issue. And we pick at them and we take little tiny chunks out of them, but yet we've never really got to the level that we seem to be getting to with three of us looking at it from different angles. We seem to be going a bit deeper and doing them. And maybe we can hand over to Alicia to talk about our Stardust and Being Human series, and how we're going to start taking all that information and creating offerings for others to join us in this journey.
Yeah, and
Marta, oh, you saw it? Marta shared all tips for me too. Oh yeah.
Off her checkbox there. So as you can see from today's shares, this is why we wanted to share our Stardust Being Human activation series. It's because it's based on our multidimensional experiences and stories of our earth walking as a multidimensional being in a human body, just like yourself, and how we are bridging the two together. So as part of us embodying our own multidimensionality, we have been discovering, again, our core wounds on a galactic and on a soul level, and have been developing multidimensional activations to harmonize our human self and experience here on planet Earth and in our physical reality. Because there are many hidden core wounds, hidden potential, forgotten soul memories, and aspects of divine truth that we are uncovering together that run so deep in humanity and in our human evolution, that with these series, part of our mission is to accelerate this dissension of your multidimensional selves into your physical reality for that continuous expansion into higher dimensions, into truth, and aligning with those frequencies and essences and that dimensional timeline of heaven on earth, or that 5D consciousness that Trudy, myself, and Eva has guided you into just a sneak peek of it. So this will be monthly activations, and the first one that we're inclined to offer is for a group of conscious souls who are desiring to stop blaming themselves for that accumulation of misaligned energy throughout their multidimensional selves or lifetimes. And if you're ready to stop beating yourself up, and to give that good cleanse, clear, and deleting of that energetic imprints and coding that blocks you from being the amazing human being that you came here to be. We invite you to join us this coming Sunday, October 23rd, for a 3-hour event, as we're divinely facilitating these together as that powerful and unique trio to offer that multidimensional restructuring and alignment to accelerate, again, that evolution of yourself and to help you step more easily into that 5D timeline. So we're going to be sharing these details within our communities, and also we're going to share the links below in the comments after.
Wonderful.
We have a landing page that you can read all the details on. So we'll be sharing that link. But one of the aspects of this is, even though we're talking about a core wound here, ultimately we're looking at getting you to playing big. We think that the solution to New Earth and to the heaven on earth concept that we're after is by us normal light workers. I call us normal, I know we're not, but we think we are, but to take you from a normal light worker into actually fully embodying all of your skills and talents. Even if you don't even think of yourself as a light worker, you'll get an idea through these sessions. We will guide you to at least start exploring what of those parts of you that you haven't explored before, and then to take that and start bringing it into your life so that you can actually make the changes that we really need on earth right now in a very practical way. Turning up in jobs, doesn't matter what your job is, but bringing all of this energy sensing, awareness and love frequencies and holding space with you, and we can start changing the world this way. Big mission, huh? I think we can do it.
Yes, please.
Yes, we can do this. We just need more souls to join us. Yay.
All right. So thank you for sharing your time with us. We hope you are starting to see all your multidimensional aspects too. And we invite you to keep joining us every Monday here through the Facebook Live, or come and join us on Zoom, as it is our intention that through our sharings, you will discover your unique frequency and how valuable that truly is. So until then, We would love to continue our conversations with you in our collaborate Facebook group called Higher Consciousness Living, Stepping Boldly into the Unknown, where we will leave the link below. I think somebody put a comment. I just want to see what they said here.
You were agreeing. Yes, please. Marcia.
Okay, yes, okay.
She's
I
joining
got
our
We've got a few on Facebook as well. Carmen says she's never associated spiritual issues with her fear of being exposed and perfectionism. And Lillian says, sounds amazing. Thank you for taking the time to share with us. Thank you, Lillian. She says we're all amazing. You guys are all amazing too. And we can't do any of this without you guys. You know, it's all a collaboration and a community that we're building. So I hope we can just grow and grow and grow until we take over the earth. I just need the cat going, yes, we'll take over the earth like James Bond bad. He's just said, but we're doing it with love. So we're going to be signing off Facebook in a moment because we've run over a little bit. We're a bit late starting today with tech issues. So if there's no more comments, we're going to stay with those that are on Zoom. So if ever you join us on Zoom, we stay a little bit longer to answer questions there. So it's always good to sign up there. Otherwise, we're going to say bye to our Facebook followers and thank you for listening in today. And I'm just going to stop the Facebook Live.